Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2019 horror remake Black Christmas. The film is co-written and directed by Sophia Takal, and it stars Imogen Poots, Elise Shannon, Lily Donahue, Brittany O'Grady, Caleb Entwart, and Carrie Elwes. Now, the film focuses on a group of female students in a sorority who are stalked over the Christmas break by a group of, well, it's a cult. It's a cult that is stalking them because they're a little bit too feminist for their liking. And they are kind of taken out one by one. Right. What are my thoughts on Black Christmas? Well, as you could probably tell from my enthusiastic intro there, not a lot. Oh my goodness. I'm not really sure where to start with this one. This film is so bad. It's a real mystery where to start because it's all negativity. As far as I'm concerned, I can't give you any positives here. This is an abomination of a film, an abomination of a remake, quite possibly the worst remake of all time, and there's been some absolute stinkers. Now, I wanted to watch this, even though I kind of knew going in that this had a poor reputation. I'd never seen it, but recently on the channel I have reviewed the 2006 remake and the original 1974 film that I think is fantastic. I really, really enjoy that. So I wanted to kind of complete the, set, review this one, so that I can kind of look at them all from as a whole, I suppose. And wow, I mean, this makes the 2006 version look like an absolute masterpiece. And that film, I didn't exactly love. I think I gave it a 6 out of 10, which tells you, it's certainly watchable, but it ain't nothing like a classic or anything. But this is an insult to the original in every single way. Now, I'm not one of those that jumps on the old woke bandwagon. I mean, if you want to see them kind of channels on YouTube, they're all over the place. The people that call Marvel the MCU, and all these other channels that go on about agendas and the message and all this kind of stuff. I've never really bought into that too much. I have watched some films over the years where it's clear that there's an agenda, and I will kind of call it out when I see it. Well, give me a megaphone, because this is one film that I have now watched where the agenda is so clear. They have stapled the agenda to the front of a sledgehammer and they are pounding their audience with it. It is so feminist. It's so men-hating. It's impossible to ignore. Impossible. I cannot believe Blumhouse allowed this film to be released, bearing in mind that it is based on a 1974 classic, and it is a classic, a genuinely disturbing film, the original, that gets under your skin and is genuinely quite frightening at times. This doesn't deserve the title Black Christmas because it is nothing to do with the original at all, in any way, shape or form. Number one, they don't even get disturbing calls in this. I mean, that was one of the things that made the original and even the remake, effective. But especially the original, they were getting these really unhinged and disturbed phone calls that really kind of made you go cold. They were so disturbing and upsetting. They don't get calls in this one. They get text messages because do you know why? It's 2019. People don't ring you anymore. They just send you text messages. Of course they do. This time round, it's not just one killer. I'm sorry, guys, but I do not give a toss about spoilers in this review. Normally, I wouldn't go near spoilers. But you're not going to watch this, are you? Only out of morbid curiosity, I would suspect. It is not one killer now, hiding out in the house, sneaking about and stalking the girls and killing them one at a time. It is a cult of boys that have been corrupted by some weird black supernatural liquid. And yes, I'm serious there, to turn them into mindless, female-hating cult members. God, you feel so stupid saying that. And they don't bleed red, they bleed this black goo. Do you know why? Because this is a PG-13. So it's made for, well, imbeciles, I think, this film. Yeah, it's a PG-13, so there's no blood to speak of here in this. Well, there's nothing to speak of here in this. You've got scenes so bad. There's a woman that gets killed at the beginning of the film, and as she's being stabbed, she's doing snow angels in what is quite clearly fake snow. It's probably one of the worst death scenes I've ever seen of all time. You've got characters here so infuriatingly insulting and annoying. You're praying for them to get it. They are so obviously agenda driven with the writing of these characters. It makes them so dislikable, it's untrue. There's another scene in this film where they all dress up like Santa, these girls, and they do like this performance on stage where they are basically singing about how brilliant they are and how terrible men are. And it is possibly one of the worst and most cringeworthy scenes I've ever seen in a film. It's unbearably unwatchable. It is so bad. And they even make an attempt in this film, which is another insult, to recreate the jump scare. You know, the one in Exorcist 3 where the nurse walks across the corridor and then the thing comes out with the choppy things. One of the greatest jump scares of all time. They try to recreate it here with hilarious results. It's about as frightening as a scene from The Grinch. And then it gets to the point in the film where they just decide to explain everything, just in case you are a mouth breather. That you can't generate, your brain can't generate enough oxygen to draw breath. There's a massive exposition dump scene where they kind of explain everything, and from that point on, everybody kind of explains everything because it has to make sense. This turd of a film has to make sense. And I could go on. There is nothing here that's redeemable. It genuinely is, I think, the worst remake I've ever seen. Probably the worst remake that anyone's ever seen. It really is an absolute piss take of the original, a complete and utter abomination compared to the original. And again, I've got nothing against women. But if there's an agenda, I'll call it out. And this absolutely has an agenda. It is so appallingly obvious. And, it's written by women. It's directed by a woman who, as best I can tell, has only directed TV stuff since this release. She's never had another cinema release. Thank God. I mean, nobody actually clearly trusts her with another cinema release. And it is I can't understand as well why you've got Carrie Elwes, who, you might as well have just tattooed "I'm the bad guy" on his forehead, because it so clearly is him that's the bad guy. Why he read this script and thought, ooh, this could be good for my film career. This would look good on my filmography. Why he decided to take it. And I don't imagine they threw money at him or anything. I can understand the young male actors taking it because they're trying to get their careers going. Carrie Elwes, what are you doing, man? Oh, this really, really annoyed me, this film. Especially coming into this so fresh after watching the original. Just reviewed it a few days ago. Long time since I'd seen that film, but I thoroughly enjoyed revisiting it. So I'm fresh from watching that and seeing what a great classic horror Christmas film that is, to watching this and to see how low these so-called creators can drop, and just absolutely smear the good name of an original film to such a degree that they have done here. Yeah, not good, guys, this one, by any stretch of the imagination. If you ever want to watch this, just do it out of morbid curiosity. I guarantee you, your jaw will hit the floor as to how bad it is. But still, might be good for a laugh for you guys if you want to check it out. That's my thoughts on the 2019 version of Black Christmas. Let's hope now they leave it alone, the original, unless you're going to get, some brilliant director on board that's going to kind of reimagine it in a way that's absolutely respectful. I don't want to see anybody go near this film again, the original. So thanks for joining me. I will, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.